All right, I want to talk about Unhinged because this movie is just the fucking best, man. I got this is seriously like the best movie to show to someone who hasn't seen it and just to watch their reactions because I think we all have that kind of same reaction of this film, even if we've heard of it, even if we knew exactly what it was, from trailers or whatever. It's not the film you think it is. Like, yeah, you think he's just going to be like, driving around town harassing her, being a creep, this and that. But it is just so much more brutal, so much more unexpected, and Russell Crowe is an absolute madman in this film. Now, sorry to burst anyone's bubble when it comes to his physique and his appearance in this, but he is wearing a fat suit. He said he did not want to gain weight for this role, so he wore a fat suit throughout the movie, which makes sense. I mean, he's outrageously obese in this movie. But man, is he absolutely menacing. But like, he's having so much fun with it. Like, man, this fucking film, this movie, I've said this before, and I said this on my spoiler free discussion. This is like, this is a film that should be shown to any kid that's about to get their license. In fact, I just feel like anybody around 16 and above should be forced to watch this movie. Because after you watch this, or even while you're watching it, you're like, I'm never ever fucking with anyone on the road again. I'm never fucking hogging my horn. I'm never doing any of that stuff. Now, I typically am not the kind of person to do that, but I have. And we're going to get into that because I think there are some defenses of things that people don't like about this movie, or I shouldn't say don't like, but question or get down on people for, but we'll get there. But yeah, Russell ate some crow, a lot of crow for this film. He's enormous, but as I said, it's a fat suit, but it works really well. All right. So we got the opening here where Russell's sitting outside and he lights a match and he just lets it burn out onto his finger. I don't know if this is just like to show us how crazy he is, or if this is like got something else going on for his character in that moment. Like, is he trying to snap himself out of what he's about to do? Is he trying to like harm himself? Is he trying to see if he even has any feeling anymore? Is that what we're supposed to see as the audience? Is that this guy is like, kind of lost all of his feelings? I don't know. I don't know. I'm sure it's just, it's like a Mr. Joshua sequence from Lethal Weapon where they hold the fucking the lighter to his arm to show that he's just so badass. But yeah, this is an absolutely intimidating, terrifying person, and he just breaks into his wife's house and kills her and her lover and burns the house down. This guy is losing it. Of course, this kind of reminds us a little bit of the Michael Douglas film Falling Down, which is another great film. Just a guy kind of split, just completely broken, loses it, and goes on a rampage around town. Pretty different though. I mean, I feel like it's comparative, but not too much though. And so then, yeah, I mean, then we go into the opening credits, and I feel like this does a very good job of showing us kind of the current state of things and how stressful everything is and how chaotic the streets have become and how people are on their phones, and there's just chaos everywhere. There's just these like there's just mass amounts of stress being put on people, and it's just like this is a recipe for disaster. It really is, and I'm surprised we hold it together as well as we do. And then we meet our main character, who actually reminded me of just physically the way she looked. She looked like Rey from Star Wars, from the new Star Wars, Force Awakens, and so on. I was looking at her, I was like, she looks a fuckload like Daisy Ridley. This is interesting to me. So anyway, her name's Rachel, and she She is currently going through a divorce, and of course, she's on the phone with her lawyer, played by Jimmy Simpson, and she is being advised, of course, to fight it, to push back, to do this and that. This is just typical bullshit that like divorce lawyers are fucking evil a lot of the time. I'm sure there's instances where some of them are good, or maybe there's one good one out there who really just definitely cares. But this whole, like, if you ever watch A Marriage Story with Scarlett Johansson and Adam Driver, this is like the best display of how like much lawyers. I think Laura Linney, that's who it is. Like, she's the one that totally fucks that entire film up for them, or that entire situation, should I say? Just like pushing and pushing and pushing, like, oh, you can't let him do this, and oh, putting them at odds with each other, divide, and oh, it's evil, man. Just so they can get their cut. Just so they can get their cut. I was just watching a movie or a TV show or something very recently, where the guy was just like, I'm done. I don't want to be a part. Oh, it was 30 coins. He's like, I don't want to be a part of this. And the lawyer's like, oh no, hold on. I mean, just let's think about things. Oh no, he just needs a minute. Oh, let's take let's take a break and we'll come back. We'll reconvene in a minute. All they give a fuck about is their money. That's all they care about. But I guess I get it. It's their job. But to like put people at odds with each other like that, like people that are already hurting, especially when it like hurts kids, when they have kids and you still do that to them, you're fucking evil, man. That's evil shit. It really is. I don't care. If you, as I've said a million times, and I'll say it a fucking million more times, if you can, with a straight face, say something like that is just business. Most of the time, if you use the phrase, it's just business, you're a piece of shit. You've lost your morality, and you're fucking kidding yourself. Because anytime you have to say that, you know that it is fucking personal. It's why you're saying it. I mean, I'm sure there's instances where that's not true, but it's very rare. I feel like that is like the fuck you statement of the century. It's just business, bro. It's just business. Yeah. Fucked my whole world over. You fucking ruined my life. Just business, right? No biggie. Anyway, so this just kind of puts us in the head of her, though. Like, this is another thing I think we don't focus on in this movie is Rachel's, mental state throughout. Before she meets Russell Crowe's character in this. Not only does she have to talk to her divorce lawyer, then she has to be in the car with her kid who's, on the phone with his father, and the father's sitting there and he's letting the kid down, and they're kind of arguing a little bit, and, she feels kind of powerless. And then her client, who she, is late for, and she refers to as her best client, as a hairdresser, and she's a hairdresser in this. Who lost her salon. She's dealing with losing her salon, thinking about possibly losing her house. Her mom's in a home. Her brother seems to be fairly irresponsible. She has this child that she fucking feels like she can't exactly take care of. She feels very powerless. And then her favorite client is like, that's it, I'm done. Get your shit together. I can't fucking handle this anymore. So she loses her best client. Like, everything is turned against her. So when she does encounter Russell Crowe, what the fuck is his name in this? I feel like, does he give his, he gives a name to the lawyer. Just can't remember what it is, but we'll just say Russell Crowe. But when she encounters him and he comes up, is what she does stupid and ill-advised? 100,000%. We all know that. And she's being a cunt about it. There's no doubt. But she just feels like, I'm not going to have another person tell me what the fuck to do. We don't know her situation. We don't know what kind of shit she deals with. Maybe the husband was like that, trying to, manipulate her, trying to push on her weak points, trying to, be like, oh, well, why don't you just apologize? And it's just like, it's not my fucking fault. I'm not apologizing, And she thinks he's being rude, and she's already in a bad mood. And I can't say that I haven't been in this kind of a position where I'm just like, fuck you. And my brain's kind of like, don't be a dick, man. But then, tempers flare, and arrogance and pride and all that stuff. And it's just like, I don't want to back down and whatever. That happens. It just happens. It happens a lot, in real life. So anybody who says like that's she's ridiculous and this is stupid or something. That's just, I don't know. I don't think they're being honest. Like, a lot of people do this kind of shit. Do they deserve to be antagonized and, possibly killed from this? Of course not. Of course not. Road rage is a real thing. And, Russell's not fucking mentally stable at this point, and she just, the question remains is if she would have looked over at him and been like, I'm sorry, I'm just having a bad day, I didn't mean to honk at you, like, just courtesy tap next time, I got it, I once again I apologize, he would have left her alone. I believe that. I don't think he had it out. Like, he really tried. I wholeheartedly believe that. He didn't target her. He didn't, like, single her out. She just came up and honked at him when he was in a really, really bad place. And he tried multiple times to get her to apologize and to set things straight. Like, look, I think what you did was wrong. Can't you admit it? And it's basically like he doesn't feel seen or appreciated. That's something he makes very clear in this film. I mean, when he talks to the lawyer later, he's just like, was that his biggest crime, talking about the father? Because then we hear on the news that he lost his job right before his pension, and that he lost another job or a couple jobs after that. He just couldn't hold a job, and I'm assuming his wife left him for another man, or left him because he's fucking was not making the money or whatever. They had their issues, and he just could not handle that. He felt like he gave his life servitude, and he was betrayed or whatever. You can fill in the blanks as you want, but I think that it's, he doesn't have to go into, and that's another thing I love about this movie. He doesn't go on some tirade of, like, talking about who's wronged him and how, and you're all gonna see and all that. He does it subtly, and he does it, nothing in this movie does he do subtly otherwise, but he just kind of drops us little hints here and there of why he's the way that he is in this moment, and then the TV fills in other parts of it. I think the film is very reserved in that way, and kind of leaves it up for us to decipher and to figure out. And I love that. I love that about the movie. I love everything about this movie. This is just a great thriller. This is fun. It's it's crazy. It's fucking crazy. And then so then she calls her out, and he's like, oh, you're gonna, I don't even think you know what a bad day is, but you're gonna fucking learn. When he says you're gonna fucking learn, that's when it's the oh shit moment of the I fucked with the wrong guy. And then, he's driving around, he's following her, she thinks like it's over, and it ain't over by a fucking long shot. And then he follows her around. She stops at the gas station, and this guy comes out, and the oh shit moment of the movie for me was like, oh, this is where this is going, because I didn't know how far he was going to take this. I thought it was going to be more he was, waiting in the shadows and kind of antagonizing her, and she was going to be going around like, this guy's following me, and people are like, I don't see anyone, or like, are you sure? Or I thought it was going to be more of that kind of movie where he was slinking in the shadows. But holy fuck, dude, when in that parking lot, when he comes out and he hits that guy and throws him out, and he gets hit by a car in the other direction, I was like, holy shit, this is going to be pure chaos. Like, he's just going to go full slasher villain in this movie. And 100%, that's exactly what he does. And then, he goes over, and while she was in the gas station, he goes and he grabs her fucking phone, switches the phone out for another phone, and then tapes an iPad up under the seat so he can track her. And then he goes to the lawyer, and that lawyer scene is fantastic. Just like the way he grabs the phone right as she starts to tell him, like, hey, this isn't this ain't my friend, I don't know this guy. And then he gets so mad with this guy. He gets mad at him for being a divorce lawyer at all. He starts to, he starts to accuse him of fucking his wife. So clearly someone he knew, someone he trusted, someone he was affiliated with. He has some serious issues with his wife fucking somebody. So he projects that onto this lawyer, and he's like, you fucking her? And he's like, what? And he grabs him, and then boom, this is where the movie amps it up to 11. Just takes like this butter knife or a fork. I can't really tell. I think it's a knife. And he just like fucking breaks the guy's face and then just pushes him down and just stabs him in the back of the neck and just killing him instantly. And that was where I was like, oh wow, we really are going full on like near slasher. Like, this guy is relentless after this. He is so mad at her. He has made it his duty. And he knows he's probably not getting out of this. This is his last hurrah. Like, I'm either going to jail or I'm dying. So the last thing I'm going to offer this world is I'm going to show, you know, self-entitled, arrogant bitches what a bad day actually looks like. I'm going to be noticed. I'm going to be respected. Which is kind of interesting because that's almost on the flip side what she felt in that moment. Like, I'm going to be fucking respected. I'm not going to be told what to do. You know, so they kind of were coming at it from the same place, except for this guy's a madman who's going to kill people over it. But yeah. Then he calls her up and he's like, pick someone for me to kill or I'm going to kill your child and your family and everyone you love. This is so fucked. And so he gives her the number of her. She finally folds. And this is what I love, man. This is what I love. Her character makes pretty much ever since she fucks up in that moment, she makes basically every right decision you could make from there on. And it just doesn't matter. He's got a one-up on her every time. There's only one thing that I'm like, I don't know about that, but it's questionable. It's questionable if it's a good idea or not. We can argue if you think she made good decisions, but I feel like for the most part, every decision she makes in this movie is basically the best thing she could have done in that moment. But it just does not matter. So she picks the girl. She has to pick someone. She's like, I'm not going to let my kid die. So she picks the girl who fired her, who she's currently mad at. It's like, I'm going to take it out on the person that I'm vengeful for at the moment. I lost her, and I guess I don't need her anymore. Get rid of her. And I guess I could see people saying that's like morally wrong. It's a character flaw, and they don't like that. But people are fucking people, man. They're real. And we're gonna get into that when I cover The Rental tomorrow, because I'm doing The Rental tomorrow for Slasher Sunday, and there's a lot of discussion to be had there with, like, you know, people getting down on characters making bad decisions and being unlikable, and it's like, are you guys being real? Like, do you think you're perfect people? You're not. You're not. You fuck up all the time. You do stupid shit all the time. You would look like, if we put a spotlight on you all the time without you knowing, you would look like a piece of shit eventually. It just happens. We make poor decisions. It's human. And for people to watch movies, I don't know, I think that's an American issue. I really do. I don't think this happens in a lot of other countries. Like, I think this is an American cinema issue. They're like, oh my god, this character has a flaw. I fucking hate them now. Watch South Korean movies. You know, watch any of those and tell me who's the actual, like, good guy. Good luck. Good fucking luck. Like, what was that movie? The World of Conoco. Watch The World of Conoco and tell me who the villain is in the movie. Who's the protagonist? Who's the fucking antagonist, dude? Our hero in that movie beats the shit out of his wife. He's a horrible person, but he is your protagonist. And this is just an American thing. Anyways, I'll probably almost say what I just said verbatim in my rental review. I should have saved it for that. But same thing here. It's just like, she's backed into this corner. I'm going to kill your kid, I'm going to kill someone else. I'm fucking anybody else. I don't care. First person that's on my mind. Bitch has just fired me. Boom. Done. You know? And you talked about all that stuff. And then, probably the most fucked up scene of the entire film. Breaks into the house, grabs the brother's girlfriend, and then forces him to stab her by pushing the girl at him when he's holding the knife up, and makes him stab his girlfriend multiple times. And then he straps him to a chair, puts a bunch of lighter fluid on him, then makes him read this really, really mean-spirited letter to his sister, which is just kind of like an added fuck you, because she knows that this brother didn't write this, nor does he mean any of the words, but he just wants her to hear it from a loving voice that she's, you know, that she trusts and respects. It's just, he's just playing head games at this point. And while he's making him read it, he's like wheeling him over and making him look at his dead fiance and being like, you did this. He's so evil. He's one of the most evil characters I've seen in a film in a long time. But somehow he's still he's such a likable villain. I don't like the guy at all. I think he's a piece of shit. I don't like him as a person. I think he's horrible. But Russell Crowe has such a fun time with this film. I can't help but love everything about his scenes. So he's like likable, but he's horrible. So he's not likable at all, if that makes any sense. And then the cop comes in and he just lights the guy on fire and pushes him at him. This is great. This is great stuff. And then when they're on the road, I'm not really honestly sure why they had to pass him. Like, I feel like they could have stayed behind him, like driving past him in the car he knows, and the fact that he doesn't really see them at first is a little bit suspect to me. So that's a little silly, but I don't really care. Then they try to get... I think it's because there's a cop ahead, and they see him... Because at first I'm thinking they saw the cop once they passed him, and then they went after him. But maybe they saw before him, and they're like, fuck it, we're going to the cop. Whatever it is, I'll go with that. Hopefully that's what it is. And they go to the cop, and they're like, help, help, help. And then he comes up, he rams them off the road, and boom, he goes to the other side of the road. And maybe the most shocking death of the movie, well, the fiance might be. I don't know. This also just so comes out of nowhere. And the person I was watching was like screamed out loud. Just gets barreled over by a truck. Just the cop goes, oh, but, you know, he tries to call her back up, and boom, dead, gone, history obliterated. He's absolutely toast, and the quarterback is toast. And then they devised this Fortnite strategy that was proposed earlier in the film. Of course, it was a setup for later. And then when she hits him from the side and he comes in, he attacks her. He's like, you didn't see me then, but you're gonna see me now. You're gonna see me every time that you think about your son. You're gonna see me forever. Every time you're gonna fucking remember that I killed your son and it's your fault. He is just so mentally abusive. It's crazy. It's crazy. Now you could argue, because I know a lot of people are like, there's no way she could take his punch. In an average situation, I will agree. If they were dating and they were in a fight and he just hit her like that and he threw her across the room, sure. Would it knock her out? Knock her down and she wouldn't get up? Sure. But we have to remember that women literally have lifted the back ends of cars to save their children. You attack a woman's kid, she's going to find superhuman strength. To me, this is just true. Just pure truth. So, yeah, I mean, if he hit her enough, her body physically couldn't take it, but the adrenaline pumping through her body in that moment kept her awake, kept her up, kept her getting up. If I can believe that Rocky took that much of a beating, I can believe that she took this much of a beating. I mean, he punches her in the face maybe 2 times or so, and then throws her around the room a couple times. But you're going after the little cub, and Mama Bear is coming for it. And like then she does this like flying scissor thrust, which sounds like a sex move for lesbians. She just comes down and boom, right in his eye, and he comes down, and then she has the fucking, like, this could be corny to some people. It is corny, but it totally works. Her fuck you line, her end line here, her exit line of here's your fucking courtesy tap, because that's what he asked for earlier in the film. It's beautiful. I love it. And this whole thing started with him wanting a courtesy tap. And she's like, here's your fucking courtesy tap. And boom, kicks the scissors right into his eyeball, into his eye cavity, into his brain, killing him. The end. And we find out the brother's still alive, which I'm like, I'm not sure he wants to be. He's gonna, he's gonna be dealing with the fact that he thinks he killed his fiance, and he has to also look in the mirror and see that he looks like Freddy Krueger. So, I'm not sure that that's what he wants. And then we even got to see Russell Crowe try to take like an electrical cord and strangle a child. That's vicious, man. You don't see a child like strangled very often. This reminds me of Halloween 2018, where Michael kills that little kid by breaking his neck. That's just, you just don't see that kind of stuff. So to see him going at him, yeah, he doesn't kill the kid, but I feel like he would have, though. If he wrapped that around his neck, as big as he was and as strong as he was, I feel like as soon as he pulled that, the kid's trachea would have collapsed and he wouldn't even have been able to breathe anymore. But doesn't matter. It's badass. I believe that the chick could do it. The only thing I was going to say earlier of the unbelievable thing, or questionable, not unbelievable, questionable thing, making wrong decisions, is when she has the plan for him to go hide up in the attic, and then she exposes that hiding space, which makes him scream, which gives away their position and almost gets them killed. That's the only one where I'm like, But at the same time, I feel like she went up there to be with him, to protect him. Like, she just kind of freaked out and was like, I gotta be with him, I gotta go grab him. It's supposed to be a fake out scare is really what it's intended for, and then it is a real scare, because he's getting grabbed and you think it's him, but it's actually the mom, but then the mom actually gets grabbed, so it's like a switcheroo. I just think it's a kind of a poor decision. Don't expose that. But whatever, I guess it ended up working out, but it could have not worked out. I gotta go to bed. This is such a great fun film, and I really hope that more people are watching this movie, because everyone I've shown it to, or everyone I've talked to has seen it off my recommendation, is like, dude, that was so fun. That was so nuts. That was so crazy. It was so over the top. Even people who don't like movies like this are still like, oh, it was crazy. He was fun. Russell Crowe definitely makes this movie. He's a fantastic villain, and I'd love to see more of him in that capacity. But he's killing it, lately with this, The Nice Guys. He's having a little bit of a comeback here for me. But yeah, all right. Adios.